Hello everyone, and welcome to the 6th Co-Creative Thought Transformation video. This video is the 6th in a series of spiritual practices meant to shift your thinking into co-creative ways of interacting with the physical world and the invisible spiritual dimension. These videos are based on my book, Heart Journey, about attracting and manifesting as a spiritual path. You can find a free introductory video to Heart Journey, a how-to manual for co-creative manifestation on my Mary Juno YouTube channel, or a link to the video on my maryjuno.com homepage. If you have not seen the introductory video, I suggest you view that video first. It will give you an overview of what I seek to accomplish by authoring these free videos and also provide context for the co-creative thought transformations I present. There are 12 co-creative thought transformations in all. It is suggested that you take them in order and practice them each for 1 month by keeping the concepts and principles in mind as you go about your normal routine. There is nothing to study or journal. I am simply introducing a different way of thinking and feeling that you can practice and observe during the coming month. If you find this video helpful, please click like when you are done and share the link with your friends. The 6th old thought pattern needing transformation is mental constructs. As you grow and learn, your mind begins to organize information into mental constructs, which become set patterns for ways of thinking, feeling, behaving, and being in the world. Organization facilitates both acquiring knowledge and comprehending what is learned. Organization starts out simple enough as a child. The brain develops as neurons in the brain begin to store information, enabling comprehension and learning. Over time, theories begin to develop along with response patterns. As you grow older and continue to gather information and respond in set ways, the patterning within your brain becomes more ingrained. New information is expected to complement what is already known and add to the existing database and mental constructs. You develop a mindset, analyzing, organizing, and understanding new data according to past established systems for comprehension. You also become uncomfortable with anything that does not fit the mold, and this becomes key in establishing and sustaining mental constructs. Much of the information you store is secondhand knowledge. You are told it either as you are growing up or as an adult. You are taught it in school or in your work environment. You are shown it in the media or through social norms and expectations. And you also read it in books. The vast majority of this information is logical, rational, and left-brain oriented. Only some or perhaps little of what you know and organize in your brain comes from personal experience. First-hand knowledge arises when you process and store your understanding of direct experiences. You have to be introspective and self-aware to gain insight from your experiences, and more than likely, you will tend to interpret these experiences in light of what you have been told, taught, shown, or read. You will want things to make sense. You don't want to be out on a limb, looking like a crazy person. Whether you are dealing with secondhand acquired information or direct experience, it is the nature of the mind to make sense of it all. What is or is not happening, knowledge, facts, information, and even truth, as you perceive it, becomes formatted and established. The formatting can become mechanical, rote, anticipatory, and mindless, though logical, rational, and perfect for functioning in the physical world on a daily basis, especially in a modern technological society. The problem arises when you are also endeavoring to function in the spiritual realm and communicate with your co-creative partner. Regardless of who you have picked as your co-creative partner, experiences will tend to be irrational, improbable, and hopefully miraculous. You want to let miracles into your life, but that will not happen as long as you hold on to the need for logical and rational explanations for your interactions and experiences within the co-creative partnership. A reliance on logic and being able to explain or explain away your experiences will keep you mentally boxed in and incapable of perceiving, accepting, and owning spiritual experiences as they occur. When dealing with your co-creative partner and manifestation through attraction and receptivity, you have to set your mind free and out of the box. There is something you may or may not have realized at this point. In addition to being a method for attracting and manifesting, Heart Journey is a spiritual path for the lay mystic. This is nothing new to your experience, but let me explain and define terms. Mysticism is the desire for direct interaction with God, higher power of your choice, or, in this case, your co-creative partner. There are mystics in every religion, but you probably only picture them behind abbey walls, cloistered and removed from daily issues and stresses such as earning a living or providing for a family. These are things you, yourself, must address. Our perception of spirituality has changed over time. In addition to becoming more inclusive and relevant to everyday concerns, we now view spiritual beings as more accessible. This has led to a desire for greater spiritual interaction from lay seekers with families, jobs, responsibilities, and relationships. Mysticism has spread outside of the abbey walls. What does this have to do with mental constructs? Mystics move beyond what they have been told, taught during religious education, shown, or read, in search of a direct interaction with God or higher power. They are open-minded without predetermined expectations or mindset. Mystics also seek a direct interaction without going through an intermediary, such as a priest, rabbi, reverend, guru, or spiritual leader. Mystics are not content with simply being told second-hand spiritual experiences and scriptural stories, sutras, and parables. They don't want to merely witness rituals. They want to be full participants, as one spiritual experience is worth 1,000 words. The path of the mystic generally exists outside of or beyond religious training. It is a private, singular journey, and no one size fits all. Though mystics do not abandon meaningful spiritual principles and ethics learned along the way, they go beyond what is called the herd mentality of organized religion into a highly individualized personal journey without preconceptions regarding what they will experience. They are willing to mentally step into the unknown. The Heart Journey path parallels that of the lay mystic. Mystics seek a direct connection with God or a higher power through prayer, meditation, silent reflection, communication, and love. In previous videos, I have already discussed the importance of prayer, meditation, or silent reflection to clear your mind for direct communication with your co-creative partner. There are a number of ways to do this, including walks in nature or journaling. Communication with your co-creative partner provides guidance regarding what to do when within the process of manifestation through attraction. It also provides the teachings and insights that take you beyond the herd mentality into a personal, individualized, mystical journey with your co-creative partner. Love is also an important part of your heart journey. Love for yourself, love for others, and love for the co-creative partner. Love opens your heart to receiving abundance. As you open your heart more and more, you are able to channel abundance to others and generate light and love in dark places. You see the blessings your co-creative partner imparts. This leads to appreciation, gratefulness, trust, love, and devotion. These are all part of the path of the mystic and the heart journey path. Mystical experiences can take on many forms or no form at all. They might be auditory, visual, or energetic. They might involve an aha moment or a slowly evolving realization. They are difficult to describe, tend to be subtle when they occur, and easy to discount or explain away when they conflict with mental constructs and a logical, rational mindset. Regardless of what occurs, how it is revealed, under what circumstances, or when it is made known, the key characteristics for me are: is it loving? Does it help me become more loving and compassionate? Does it open my mind with new insight that furthers my spiritual growth? Can I use this experience to become a better person? My inner spiritual life changed dramatically in 1975 when I had a not-so-subtle experience. I had my first clairaudient experience, followed by my first clairsentient experience, and then my first clairvoyant experience, all in quick succession. I estimate the entire event lasted for at least a minute, but time stood still while I was away, and I returned to the exact moment I had left. During the clairaudient portion, I heard a voice as clearly as you're hearing my voice now. During the clairsentient portion, I understood a profound concept without the stimulus of any sensory input. I simply knew without words or pictures conveying the meaning. During the clairvoyant portion, a vision appeared before my eyes, as clearly as you're seeing this video. Nothing like this had ever happened before, and nothing prepared me for this experience. I began to search for meaning. Counseling was not helpful, as my therapist called my experiences hallucinations. It wasn't until I went to graduate school for counseling psychology that my perception of the experience changed. I read a book by R.D. Laing called The Politics of Experience. Basically, he said that the experiences of the mystic are no different from the experiences of the schizophrenic, other than the mystic comes back to reality after the hallucination. This book had a profound effect on me. I understood that as long as I still drove carpool, cooked dinner, changed diapers, and did laundry on a daily basis, I was okay. It was my ability to function in a productive and loving manner that defined my mental health, and not mystical experiences labeled as hallucinations by psychologists. I stopped being afraid and instead embraced the irrational, illogical miracles in my life. Only then did they begin to make sense. My point is this: Heart Journey and the Path of the Lame Mystic are both individualized, solitary journeys. I cannot tell you exactly what your personal journey will be like, but I can tell you that at times it will be irrational, illogical, and miraculous. Experiences may not make sense to you immediately or ever. You may see, hear, sense, and know things beyond explanation that don't jive with your understanding. At these times, it is important to remain open-minded and do not discount or explain away your experiences. This brings us to the sixth thought pattern transformation. As long as you think you already know and understand, or have established a pattern of interaction with your experiences, you will miss the evolving intelligence innate to the mystical path and the arising insight and wisdom. You become a closed book, finished before you begin, resistant to divergent information that is incompatible with your mental constructs or contradicts your rational assessment. Preconceptions can derail your heart journey, delay manifestation, and retard your mystical edification. You cannot learn what you already think you know. Don't impose requirements on the learning process and the insights you receive. You need to remain open-minded. Only then can you go beyond what you have been told, taught, shown, or read. There is an ancient story of a master trying to teach his students about the mysteries of life that go beyond the obvious, that only they can discover for themselves. He knew that there were things that could not be taught or put into words, even by a master. The best he could do was point his students in the right direction. From there, the students were to progress on their own. He took the students out into the night and pointed at the moon. When he looked back, the students were all staring at his finger. He explained that all of his teachings were nothing more than a finger pointing at the moon. The students were not to fixate on his finger. They were to look beyond his finger to what lay ahead. There was a time when I would meditate in front of this large poster of a Buddhist mandala. I wanted to unlock its mysteries, and I thought by studying it closely, noting the placement of this or that, or the number or amount of various objects included in the poster, I could crack the code and learn the mandala's secret. Actually, the mandala was more like a finger pointing at the moon. All my theories were for naught, as I became fixated on the poster itself. Then an energy spontaneously arose out of the mandala and literally hit me between the eyes. This woke me up and got my attention. It was an aha moment. But it did not arise from my mental gymnastics. I thought I knew. I had a plan, when actually I was thwarting any chance I had of having an experience of awakening. For a number of years, I sat before various mandalas, and they all began to emit energetic impulses. I cannot tell you what I learned. There were no words, no sounds, no pictures, no thoughts, but I can tell you that they were key to my spiritual growth. Direct interaction with your co-creative partner is an essential component of heart journey and the process of manifestation through attraction and receptivity. Direct interaction with God, or higher power, is an essential component of any mystical journey. Co-creative communication and mystical intelligence are not static knowledgeable states, but moment-to-moment processes, evolutionary ways of interacting with each and every experience as it arises, allowing for continuing guidance and spiritual development. This is why, while on your heart journey or mystical path, an open mind is as essential to insight as an open heart is to love. It is better to assume that you do not know. You can also assume that you do not know that you do not know. It is only when you are surprised by a revelation that you discover what has been missing. What is forgotten, hidden, and unknown will gradually emerge in you and from you, but only after you eliminate preconceptions of what might actually be forgotten, hidden, and unknown. Knowing comes over time and as an unfolding mystery, leading to insight and wisdom. Realizations, when they emerge, can be far afield from your expectations and mental constructs. For you to progress and develop spiritually, something entirely new should arise and enter your consciousness. You cannot think the aha that needs to occur. It is not linked in any way to what you already know. You can only ride the arising tide of awareness as it is happening. So here is your task for the next month. You need to become aware of your mental constructs. What is it that stands in the way of your spiritual development and communication with your co-creative partner? Endeavor to be open-minded. That is the goal. Do this by giving up adherence to truth as you know it, whether you label it with a small t or a capital T. Your truth, whatever it is always in the past, while you are in the now. In this sense, established knowledge and understanding can prevent you from seeing anew and experiencing with a beginner's mind. Surrender your need for rational and logical explanations for your experiences. All spiritual journeys become irrational and illogical eventually. This is when the miraculous can happen. View your experiences as clues to a greater mystery. Accept them as they are and never attempt to explain them away or recharacterize them from the original event. Be with what is. Work with this co-creative thought transformation for 1 month, keeping it foremost in your mind. Place cues in your home or work environment as reminders of the transformation you are seeking to make. At the end of the month, move on to the 7th co-creative thought needing transformation. You are not expected to master any of the co-creative thought transformations in 1 month's time. These transformations are lifelong callings. There are layers and layers of spiritual insight and growth innate to each new co-creative thought pattern. In the beginning, awareness in and of itself is considered progress, a step in the right direction. Next month's 7th thought needing transformation is judgment, which will also be in video format. There are actually 12 co-creative thought transformations. Progress with one transformation supports progress with the others, as all 12 are interrelated. Each round will awaken your heart further and deepen your experience and skill in attracting and manifesting. Look for the 7th co-creative thought transformation on my YouTube channel or on the Mary Juno website. To receive notices of each new video, subscribe to my YouTube channel or newsletter. For more information about Heart Journey and co-creative manifestation, go to my maryjuno.com website. There you will find a study guide, sample chapter, and links to other videos. Heart Journey, the book, is available in paper and digital format, and obviously the greatest amount of information and spiritual depth is only found in the book. My videos can only introduce you to a topic. The book can be purchased online or through a bookstore. The digital format will work with your iPad, tablet, computer, or phone. Free apps are available. Lucky Sweeney and I have done a series of web presentations on making a request or composing a Sacred Heart contract. The series is based on the book Heart Journey. It includes start-to-finish concrete examples of manifestation through attraction and discusses the co-creative partnership and communication at length. You can purchase access to this series under Courses on my secure shopping cart. I wish you all the best with this 6th co-creative thought transformation. I look forward to sharing with you next month with a new video, and I hope you have an abundant and insightful month.